Hi everyone, it's Tasha. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. You know that I'm always in thrift shops looking for high-end style home decor for a lot less than retail, and this week, like usual, I want to bring you along to some thrift shops with me so you can get a sneak peek at what thrift shops in my area look like, what sort of stuff I'm seeing, and then I'll show you what I'm bringing home to cultivate a more modern charm look in our home that is warm, inviting, and most of all, that's a little bit more interesting piece by piece. Come along with me and let's see what we can find. Well, thanks for joining me. Let's go right into some thrift footage. Come on and join me at some thrift shops and see what we can find this week. I thought that little magazine rack was kind of cool for $10.50. I like how it was a little bit more interesting than some of them that are at the stores right now. Also, a really kind of nice cast iron pan for $19.99, which was pretty good. I like this painting. However, the colors weren't perfect for our home, but I did see it in someone's arms as I was still shopping. Someone else had grabbed it, so I'm glad that it found a home. I also am spotting lots of items recently that I really think would be great for a more cottagecore type style, people that are looking for really interesting and more cutesy, homey sort of items. These little fruit pitchers definitely, I think, hit that mark, as well as this pie dish with the kind of apple motif on the top and the little apple handle. It was really cute. And again, I saw someone with it later in the store. Someone had bought it, so it's nice to see that these items are finding a nice little home even though I don't need them at my house. I thought that the shape of this vase was really unique. It did have a pretty good sized chip on one part and a crack going down the side though, so even with a makeover I didn't want to take that one on because I thought it might be structurally unsound. But I do love to look at all of the different vessels in the thrift shops, and some of them I definitely think are people's handmade, items that they've donated. I'm not sure how they end up there, but they're interesting to look at. Another item that I saw someone else pick up behind me and take home with them, this little country kitchen crock that I thought sure someone would love for their home, for their sort of farmhouse style kitchen. I thought that was kind of cute. This, my daughter said, looked like a crown, and I think that she's right about that. Also, always keep my eye out on different sets of dishes, especially if they're large sets with lots of the pieces, which can be hard to find. So these were marked up fairly high though at $5 a plate for the large size. I didn't really continue checking the prices for the smaller sizes. And I also found a set of 2 of these really cool bookends, this kind of floral motif. I don't think that I personally love it. It's very traditional, and I do love a mixture of traditional and modern. These just weren't speaking to me, but they were super heavy, and I think that they are very pretty. I thought also that this bookshelf was an excellent deal. This was only $18, which I was very surprised by in this particular store. For such a tall and large bookcase, we didn't really need a bookcase of this size, but wow, what a great price for $18. So now let's take a look at what I brought home from the thrift shops this week. The first thing that I grabbed was this little basket. I really liked the shape and size of this one to be a small waste basket for my daughter's bedroom. I think that the braiding and weaving on the top is so pretty, and this only cost me $1.99. There's not many places that you could buy a waste basket for under $2, maybe at the Dollar Tree, but you'd be getting something like this, one of these little plastic deals. I see no reason to choose that over something like this that's secondhand but far better quality for the same price. This looks so nice in her bedroom and is perfect for the small paper trash there beside her desk that she primarily uses for coloring. Could not beat this deal for only $2. Another thing that I brought home from the thrift shops was this beautiful throw blanket. I'm calling it an artisan throw blanket because it's clearly not from a box store. Along the edges, this has sewn in it that it was made in Solapur, which is a place in India prized for its textiles. I think that this is called a chadar blanket, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Maybe someone out there can let me know. But anyway, I love the style of this one. I like how it's reversible with the brown and the white reversed on either side, but both being really pretty. I like the dark brown side a little bit better for our home. And this is something that you can style so many different places, along the back of a chair, along the side of a sofa, along the whole back of a sofa. I really like this one in our family room, and I think it's found its little home here on this very modern style chair. I think that this adds a touch of that modern charm that we've been talking about on this channel. Also, this one is large enough to span a king size bed, so it would be great for the foot of a bed as well. It only cost me $3. Another thing that I grabbed from the thrift shops this week was this little lamp. I really thought this was so cute. Not something that you would see, in Target right now. It's something that leans very traditional, but also that glass shade, especially with the kind of plaid frosting that it has going on, is a little bit of an Art Deco touch. I thought that it was really nice. I paid $19.99 for this, and I'm going to be styling this in our dining room over on the side hutch. I'm giving it a little bit of a head start and boost with a couple of books because I want to place it next to these dried florals and I want it to be notably taller than them. Another little vase for a little bit of contrast in size there, and I think that this vignette is very simple but very pretty. I wouldn't normally pay $19.99 at a thrift shop for a lamp, but I thought that this one with the glass shade was a little bit more special, especially with the two hanging chains, which I find really charming, so I thought this was a pretty good deal. Another thing that I picked up this week from the thrift shops was this little side table. I got this from Habitat for Humanity. I like the shape and the high distressing that it had on the wood. It was marked for $45, but the pink tagged items were 20% off this particular day, and so I got it for 20% off, which made it around $38. Again, I really was drawn to the shape of this. I liked the hardware on the front as it was, and also I liked the distressing in the wood. But once I got it home, it did have more of an orangey tone to it in my house than it appeared to have to me in the store. So I was a little disappointed by that, and I considered waiting and getting some gel stain and going over it and changing it out. Since I wasn't familiar with exactly what type of wood it was, I didn't know how well it would sand, if part of it was a veneer or anything like that. But it felt porous to me, so I decided to do something pretty unconventional, which I would not recommend generally, but I had some regular black wood stain, just regular like liquid stain, and so I decided to test a spot on the back and see if this would actually take that without sanding this piece, and it totally did. Again, I would not ever recommend that because that's definitely not the way you're supposed to do it. You definitely should sand down wood before you put a new stain on, but this one felt rough and porous, and it took the black stain right over top of the existing stain and dried perfectly fine. So I just got lucky with that. But on a project like this, I would usually recommend buying a gel stain if you want to go over an existing stain without sanding it away. This black stain combined with the orangey stain underneath to make a beautiful, almost Jacobean color dark stain, and I think that it's really, really pretty. And so I like this piece a lot more in this color. It just kind of goes better with our room. And as a little twofer, I also found this little basket, which cost me $2.99, and I thought that it would be the perfect size to put under this table just to keep some of the books that I use on a daily basis, along with some reading glasses right under here for easy access. The drawer is also really useful just to store a laptop cord and a few remotes to keep them completely out of sight from the room. And I'm not going to add a large lamp on this small size table. We do have two lamp sconces on the wall behind the sofa, so I really don't need one there, and it's fairly small. Instead, I'm just going to be using this top as a very utilitarian surface, placing this nice little vessel that I've put some tissues into instead of a tissue box, and a coaster, and I'm wrapping this one up. This table will be really useful for me sitting here on the sofa, and I think it's also beautiful, especially for less than $40. Another thing that I brought home this week was this really interesting brass basket, vessel, bucket, I'm not sure what you want to call it, but I thought it was really stunning. I couldn't believe it when I turned it over, and it was only $4.99 at Goodwill. I thought that price was excellent, especially considering that brass is so popular right now. I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do with this when I brought it home, which is usually a no-no for me, but I had to get this piece. Here's our cat Curry just kind of checking it out as he does with all new items that come into the house. So you could flip something like this over and use it as a little plant elevator, like a plant stand. You could use it as a wastebasket in a room. I'm going to be using it as a planter, but kind of putting a plain, boring white planter that I already owned directly inside of it, so I'm not putting the dirt and water directly into the brass pot. I think that this is such a nice little piece, adds a little bit of that modern charm, and is much more interesting than a plain pot that you could buy from the store. The next thing that I brought home was a smaller item. You may have noticed that seaside-inspired home decor items are trending for 2025. I know on McGee & Co.'s site they have some really pretty things that are shells, and I found this set of napkin rings that were a set of 5. They were only 99 cents for all 5 of them. They are really pretty shapes. Each shell is different. However, they were a very shiny, bright gold. That wasn't the tone that I was looking for, but I didn't let that stop me. Those of you who have seen the channel before know right away that I'm going to grab my rub and buff, and it's going to be European gold. So I just got that out. I literally have a glove that I keep on hand that's just for rub and buff. I use it that often. So I just pulled out my glove and I'm just going over these with the European gold color. Just give it a few moments to dry. And I think that takes the color from too shiny and just a little bit over the top for my taste, a little bit cheaper looking, to more expensive and high-end looking, just toning down the gold and making it look more like an antique brass color. And so I really love this set after I've gone over them and changed the gold out. They look really pretty with all the napkin colors that I have on hand, and I like how it's one of each shell and they're all different. I often have my table set for only 4, so for me a set of 5 worked fine for lots of occasions, and I really like these. My daughter picked out this one in particular that is her favorite, so that one's at her place setting, and this one is my favorite, but I love how they look with the neutral napkin colors in particular. As always, I hope that this video has inspired you to go out and hit some of your local secondhand shops of whatever kind those might be, and see if you can find some things that you love for your home for a lot less than retail as well. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, go ahead and hit the like button and leave me a comment below letting me know what you enjoyed. Also, if you'd like to hit the subscribe button, you'll see more of my videos in your feed. Thanks so much again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you at the next video.